So my question is, now I just moved to LA, and which is my next step to get my success? I understood about the unconditional happiness.
Right?
This is my answer, but I will ask.
Yes.
Can you understand
Yes.
me?
Yes.
So
You already know this, but you're going to say it for confirmation. Yes.
yeah, yeah, look at this.
Which means you don't know it quite as much as you're pretending that you do.
So I ask or not?
Certainly. Certainly.
So,
Yes.
yeah. Which is my next step to get my success in LA? I'm feeling. I know that I will get my success in LA, but I'm asking you.
Devour its beauty in every way you can.
Sorry?
Focus on the beauty of your environment in every way that you can. Immerse yourself, engulf yourself, surround yourself with as many wonderful aspects of the city, the music business,
Yeah.
the people, the beach, the sun. Do everything that you can to be in love with this and 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 in love with this. Do everything that you can think of to do in a day that will make you happy while you're doing it, because your intentions are already in your vortex. Your inner being already knows what you want and the path to it. So you just got to be as happy as you can be, so that you'll be in the receptive mode, so that you'll be ready for the idea. The ideas are being flowed to you all the time. You got to be happy to get the idea, to receive it, to understand it, and to feel enough momentum in it to say, this is what I'm going to do. If you can get it, that all you got to do is tap into that, you will never be discouraged again. You are only ever feeling a feeling of discouragement when you're not tapped into that. So our encouragement to you is do everything that you can do to just stay in this happy place. There are so many reasons to be happy. Esther was at the beach in Del Mar the other day, just sitting, gazing out the window, just pondering, asking. She knew she was in the receptive mode. She was so tuned in. She was feeling so good. She was just happy for no explicable reason, except that she was in the most beautiful place on earth on the most beautiful day with the most beautiful weather, in her new van with everything that she could possibly want to eat. Yeah. Conditions were really good. Conditions were really good. Conditions were so good she could not get the grin off her face. So she's doing a focus wheel just for the pleasure of positive thoughts flowing, and then looked up just as a pod of dolphins, five of them, just played in a circle right there in front of her, just played in a circle, just jumped out of the water, went under the water. For a while she couldn't see them at all, and she said, oh, you're hiding from me. And then they pop up over there, and then they'd pop up over there. First she thought they were migrating north, but then she realized they were just there playing, just there frolicking. She was a vibrational match. She felt just like they felt. They were equally happy, and there they were having the experience together. See what we're getting at? Now, she was in the receptive mode. She was in the receptive mode. So she looked up just at the right time. She wanted to run up and down the beach. There was a lady sitting in the car next to her that was looking down at whatever she was doing. Esther wanted to say, hey, 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 look out there. Hey, look out there. People walking by, nobody looking over there. Nobody looking over there. Esther saw 20 or 30 people in her very near vicinity. She wanted to get out there and say, hey, 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 look over there. Something really good that you want to see over there. And it wasn't just that they were bored because there are so many dolphins. It wasn't anything like that. You just want to be in the receptive mode so you don't miss the dolphins or any other ideas that are swimming around you, taking you to all of the happiness that you want and deserve. Yeah. Enough?
Enough. Yeah.
Wow, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
We were just talking about happy.
Kind of overwhelmed. I'm wondering if you could please speak to my confusion
Yeah, but you won't be able to hear it.
Around
Clarity, confusion. So we'll just give you the whole thing about clarity, but if you're in confusion, you won't be able to hear.
Okay.
So word it differently. I'm looking for clarity on this subject. Words don't matter so much. We don't mean to be beating up on you. We're just trying to use all the time up. But just playing. The words don't really matter very much. Your words don't matter because it's how you feel that equals whether you're in the receptive mode or not. And we're really good at talking around to get you in the receptive mode so that you can hear. We just want to point out for everyone that when you start out by saying, I'm confused about something, you're in the receptive mode for more confusion, not in the receptive mode for more clarity. So the more you realize that you're looking for clarity and thinking about how good it feels to feel clear. Do you have clarity on some subjects in your life? And those subjects that you have clarity on, how do they feel?
Pretty good. Excellent.
And when clarity flows, what does it feel like?
My heart sings.
And what's happening in your mind when you know you're in a state of clarity? Do the ideas flow easily? And does your ability to explore them and feel happy about them, does that increase? We're just amplifying what a feeling of clarity feels like. You know, when all of a sudden you get that idea, oh, that's a great idea. That's clarity. Then you say, oh, that'll never work. That's not clarity. But for just a moment, that clarity hit you. That's clarity. So what is it that you would like more clarity about?
My situation, how...
Do you know, this is going to annoy you just a little bit.
Okay.
But do you know what the best way to achieve clarity is? Get off the subject of confusion.
Okay.
So if you get completely off the subject that is causing you confusion, and you get onto a subject where you easily can find clarity, and you get clarity momentum going, then when you go back and talk about the confusing subject, it's more likely that you will find clarity. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't even think I can ask my question now.
Well, that's because we've clarified enough that you don't really want to, because you can feel that those words, what you were going to talk about, is just going to amplify the confusion. And one of the reasons that we chose you with just a little bit of time left is because it would take us at least 30 minutes to find a place of clarity enough that you would follow the path of that. So here's what we desire for you. We have another couple of hours today where everything that is important for you to achieve clarity, we will be discussing. By the end of this gathering today, we will have distracted you from whatever it is that's bothering you to a place that you will feel stronger clarity. Even if there's something really strong and really negative in your experience, you can still find clarity around it. We'll help you distract yourself from that, because that's what's got to come. We cannot say enough words to you in order to change the confusion that you are feeling. Almost everybody else in the room would get benefit from it, but you couldn't hear it, not yet. But by the end of today, you'll hear. You see what we're getting at? The clarity about this subject will come to you today. It is our promise to you. We've just got to lull you into more of a non-resistant state before you're going to be able to hear it. We're not even going to ask you if it's helpful, because it isn't yet. It isn't yet. It's all right. This is a good time for a segment of refreshment. And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
All good?
All good.
All good. Shit, I can't believe I'm up here now. God.
And yet, when we found you, you knew.
Yeah.
There was no question. There are people around you that thought, but you knew for sure.
Yeah.
So you were in more anticipation.
I mean, just then I actually went outside and I walked over and was in the sunshine. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Plane was coming down, and you're starting to see your future, like really clearly see it. And then you get those moments of clarity, and you're feeling good. Like you're happy, totally unconditional. And it's just amazing. And the thing was I was feeling the sun, looking at the plane, And I thought, when you're on the flight, you think the landing, there's some worry about it, like there's something could go wrong or whatever. And then from that more distant perspective, then I watched how effortless it was and how easy it was. And I just had that thought to myself, like, this is nothing. You've helped me so much. Every day I listen to your recordings, and it really clicked the other week that feeling happy is unconditional. Even though I've introduced so much resistance to it and got in the way of myself so many times because I haven't felt worthy of what I truly desire, you see that the happy, it's just like, just be happy.
There's not anything inappropriate, and we are never guiding you away from finding happy subjects to focus on, because that is an easy way to be happy. We just don't want it to become necessary that there always be something happy happening to you in order for you to be able to step back and find ease and well-being anyway. And that's why understanding how it all works, understanding the laws of the universe, understanding who you really are, understanding that this too shall pass if it is something unpleasant, helps a lot. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm reticent whether I should even bring it up, but I've always kind of been waiting for this relationship I've wanted. And I met a girl about 1.5 years ago. It's funny, like when I'm on my high-flying disc, she keeps popping up, but then so often there's so much resistance there and the energy's just not right.
Well, when you're on your high-flying disc, you're not focused upon the improbability of it or the struggle of it. Yeah. And so it feels good. And so
yeah.
So the key is to keep good feeling going as long as you can by milking good feeling situations. And then if there is something that is presenting itself to you that when you feel you need to focus upon it, like you have no choice about it, then you focus upon it with the really overriding, underlying understanding that this is an anomaly, that high flying is who you really are, that this is an exception, that this may even be a residual of something past going on in your experience, that really the momentum is in a different place. And under those conditions, you understand that you can deal with anything. Yeah. When you know how it all really fits together. Yeah. So what specifically is it that you want to talk about?
It was that. That's the thing, is it's just I don't know, maybe I just need confirmation or to put myself up here.
But that's all right too. But confirmation is pretty much conditional. Yeah. In other words, Abraham, if you would just tell me that I'm on exactly the right track and that this thing that I want is going to be, you're asking us to create a condition that you can then have a conditional response to.
Yeah. It just doesn't matter then, does it?
Well, it matters because it's something that you want. Of course it matters. Yeah. You can't let go of your desire, but you can feel when you're helping it along and when you're hindering it.
Okay, so when you're hindering it, I've listened to enough that you say go general. Do you just totally get off the subject, or is there at some point that I soothe it?
It's interesting because we've written a few books and had really a lot of conversations about what to do when you realize that you're not in vibrational alignment with something that you want. And of course, you could try to find a better feeling thought, and you could try to think another thought. Of course, that's what we recommend in that situation. But what we're really advocating is getting out ahead of it. Before the negative thought comes, get the momentum going on the positive thought. Because if you get the momentum going on the positive thought, the negative thought is less likely to come. It's getting out ahead of it that really is where your mastery of all this is. And from what we can feel from you, you are ready for that mastery. You've been in the high-flying mode often enough, deliberately enough, and you've maintained it long enough that you know the benefit of it. You've had the advantage of having wonderful things happen and making the conscious correlation between how that matches the mood that you've been in. So what we're really talking about here is your mood. What's your mood? What's your attitude? What's your mood? If somebody comes and says something rude to you, we all understand why your mood might be what it would be. We're talking about what you do before that. What is the mood that's going to turn to things? What's the mood that you've got going on? So if you get up in the morning when your mood is likely good because you haven't had time to brood about things, then if you can keep that positive mood or attitude going, then you'll get further into the day and more positive things will happen. It's getting out ahead of it. What to do when you get blindsided by something that you didn't see coming because that vibration was familiar enough to you that if you'd been in a better mood, you'd have noticed it as something that you wanted to turn away from. But since you were sort of kind of in that mood, you didn't notice it. Did you hear that? So it felt like you got blindsided because it felt sort of normal. It was just an exaggeration of the normal. If you're running around feeling vulnerable, if that's your mood, then things that make you feel more vulnerable are going to keep showing up in your experience. But when you wake up in the morning and you discover that feeling of empowerment, if you can keep that going, after a few days, vulnerability isn't your attitude or mood. Invincibility is. That's what our friend was saying. I feel enlivened, I feel invincible, I feel sure, I feel like good things are coming. And we want him to keep that mood going no matter what. Which means you got to find it every morning and hold it as long as you can through the day, and then find it the next morning and hold it as long as you can through the day, and find it the next morning and hold it as long as you can through the day. And before you know it, your day will support the way you started it. Because today, even though your momentum subsided while you sleep, today you're still going to experience some momentum of past beliefs. So what are you doing at the first of this day will have a big impact on whether those negative beliefs, those hindering beliefs, peter out and do not become part of your experience, or whether they're active enough that they play a big part in your day. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Be as happy as you can be, and when you don't feel happy, take a nap. And when you wake up, be as happy as you can be for as long as you can, and when you don't feel happy, take a nap. And then when you wake up, tell your employer that Abraham said naps are important.
The funniest thing I think is that Pharrell song that blew up around the world, Happy, and the opening line is, you might think it's crazy what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
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 Thank
Enough?
you. Yeah.
Really
We're
good.
good.